So, all right, so we are live now. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining this session on getting started with machine learning. It's pleasure to have Ali with us today, and this is gonna be like one of the most productive session because Ali is most active person in the community work. He has trained more than 5K students hands-on on 50K students through seminar and workshop. Currently, he is the co-organizer of Google Cloud Developer Community, Mumbai, and the lead ambassador of IEEE Collaborate Tech in India. So, with the passion of community, he has also started the very first TensorFlow user group in India. Ali Mustafa is also a software innovator Intel, a Google certified educator, and a TEDx speaker. He is also a YouTube channel, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. The links are in the description. So if you have any questions, put them down in the comment section or the live chat so that we would love to take it towards the end. So I think this is from my side. All right. So next voice is from Ali. Bro, the platform is all yours. Now please begin and enrich us with the knowledge of ML. Yep.
Thank you so much, Samajit. I'll quickly share my screen and then get started.
Sure.
Okay, so I hope my screen is visible. Is it? Okay, that's good. I guess we are having people tuning in, so that's also good. Let's get started. I hope my voice is also clear so that you guys are able to hear me. Samajit, can you please confirm it once?
Yep, your voice is audible.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Okay, so welcome everyone. My name is Ali Mustafa, and I hope you're doing good. Let's get started. This is for absolute beginners. Okay, it is for people who have just kind of started or they want to start with their career in machine learning, and it is for them. Okay, so it is for absolute beginners. If you have some knowledge in machine learning, you will get a different perspective. But at the end of the day, this is for people who are very new to machine learning or they are just getting started with machine learning for now. If you have attended one of my talks on machine learning before, which is beginner level, then there might be some repetition of the content. So if you have already attended my talk on machine learning for basics, you might want to skip this one. But if you like how I speak, so you can still continue. But yeah, this is going to be a beginner level talk, so don't expect some high level code to be run or some very cool demos to be shown. It will give you a perspective about what is machine learning, how to go get started with it, and yeah, so that's all we are going to discuss. At the same time, you might be, if you're looking at the YouTube channel, you probably might be looking at my screen, and I will be looking at the right most of the times because the chat is on the right hand side, and I have a display right there. So whatever you guys kind of pop in the comment section, I'll be able to check that out, and I will also keep asking you questions. So if you are able to answer them, that will really be helpful for me. So if everyone is ready, just give me a thumbs up, and we are good to go. I see there are a lot of people coming in online. So just give me a thumbs up in the chat with an emoji, and we are all good. Okay, so that looks like we are all good. Let's begin. Okay, so my way of typically saying hello is waving a hand and saying hello to everyone, and kind of you can still wave your hand in front of the screen. That might feel a bit weird, but it gives you some energy, which will which will definitely give you some positive reinforcement. So just wave a hand in front of a screen, and that would be great. If you still are not and you don't want to, then I will sudo you. Okay. So if you're from CS background, you know what it means. If you're not, just forget about it. About myself, I'm Ali Mustufa and I build human networks. Samajit have given a good introduction about me, so I will kind of skip some introduction and move forward directly to the content. I love speaking and I am very talkative. So you will know that by the end of the session because I keep talking and talking and talking. So let's hope that we finish the session in the given time, and we'll come up with that. Now, as you might be seeing these images, I'm very fond of taking selfies as well. So, but we are in a virtual setting, so we will not be able to click a selfie per se. But maybe we can click a screenshot, maybe. So let's see. I'm not much older, so my age is 23 years as of now. And I have done quite some work in the field of machine learning from the start of my diploma first year, that was 15 years of age. From that moment, I started exploring the field and I started developing stuff. I was working with Google Cloud community for 2 years, and then now I work with the GDG Cloud Mumbai and Tensorflow user group in India. And like I kind of balance development and community work both together. And yeah, that's kind of about me in a very short introduction. Okay, I'm also an Intel software innovator. So if you are or if you want to become an Intel software innovator, it's very simple. Not much kind of you can say it is a very simple process where you can apply and you can become part of Intel software innovator. So if you want to, you can just go here and you can read about the program and then apply for it if you are an ML practitioner. Now again, this is not for beginners. So if you are a beginner in the field, then this program might not be for you. But if you are an advanced user, then definitely you should go ahead and you should try this out. It will definitely give you a leverage. I also work with a lot of Intel hardware, so I will reserve this for other slides which might be coming in the near future, where I talk about Intel technology specifically. So yeah, till the time I can skip this mostly. Also, I'm part of Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. Microsoft Student Partner was the earlier name. So if you want to become Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador right now, you can definitely go and check out their website. That is also an effective free program which will help you to enhance your visibility among student developers and also help other developers who are keen on learning. Okay, so let's get started. Before we start machine learning, the first thing we need to understand is the country which we live in and the business which operates in that country. Okay, so which map is this? I'm hoping that this is a very good okay, I guess I have some comment. Why Intel in specific reason? Intel does allow you to do a lot of stuff. For example, you get sponsored for a lot of your work which you do for the community. The second part is Intel provides you the hardware which you need. So most of the times you need cutting edge hardwares for your work, for the systems you're developing, for the algorithms you're working on. So it becomes very handy because Intel is your partner. So they kind of give you that hardware free of cost, which will not be quite possible to even buy them in India because of the taxation and other import issues. But with Intel, you get that hardware very easily and efficiently. So that's why the Intel program. Okay. So on the screen, you see the map of India, and when you are a budding developer or you're learning a technology, the main goal of learning a technology should be to implement it to solve some problem. Okay. Now, what I see in most of the cases is people learn a technology and then they try to find solutions. Okay. So if you see my LinkedIn DM, most of the times people will be like, "Hey Ali, can you suggest us some fancy project about machine learning?" Or on Instagram, people will be like, "Hey Ali, can you suggest us some deep learning projects which are very fancy, which are very new, which are very kind of unique?" And my answer to them is, definitely like you should first see the problem and then learn the technology which can solve that problem. So for example, if the problem statement is to make websites, you should not learn machine learning. Okay, that should not be a priority because to make websites you don't need machine learning. To make websites you need HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript. Okay, or you can use WordPress, very simple as that. So understand the problem and then learn the technology. Okay, don't learn the technology and then search for problems. So you're like, okay, I will learn machine learning and then I will search for problems to solve using machine learning. That's really crazy. Okay, and on many different levels, because here you are, learning the technology which you are kind of unaware of what the application is, and then you try to search and fit machine learning everywhere. And machine learning is not kind of a thing or a tool which can be fit everywhere. It has its own specific applications where it can be used. So remember that. Okay, so when we talk about India, the first major problem which Indians have, okay, now that is not a problem to Indians per se, because we believe in unity and diversity, and there are so many different religions, there are so many different cultures, there are so many different kind of variety of people we have in India. Is that even if you you won't be able to find such variety across the globe. Okay, that's the variety of India. You will find people speaking English, you will find people speaking Marathi, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, and so on, and so many different languages. So the first major problem of India is language. Okay. Now, why I say this is a problem in terms of technology is because it restricts people to go on the internet. Okay. Internet is 97% English and 3% native language. Okay. So when the internet is 97% English and 3% native language, it becomes very difficult for the native speakers to go online and kind of, interact with internet. That is one major problem. Another major problem is to interact with the devices. Okay. So input devices. What are the input devices? Can anyone tell me in the chats? Yeah, what are the input devices for your systems, like computer systems or mobile systems? What are the input devices? Basic input devices. You might have heard about this in your school days, and I hope you remember that. So the basic input devices, as I can see in the chat, it's microphone. Okay, then comes touch screen, then comes scanner, then comes all these different kinds of input devices. And when you talk about interacting with English content, when you don't know English, definitely your touch is kind of useless because you don't know how to interact with the content. And you are technically you are at the position where even if you have the technology, you cannot operate. Okay. And machine learning is a very good solution to this problem. So you can come up with innovative ways of how people interact with the computer. And one such way is using voice. Okay. And using voice as a first language. Now, when I talk about languages are not so easy to understand. And I have worked with multiple states and understood their languages and how it operates in the real world. So if you see here, India has more than 1600 dialects. Okay. And the languages are 30 plus, that is for sure. Okay. And when we talk about dialects, dialects are more than 1600. Can someone tell me what is a dialect? Yeah. Anyone can tell me in the chat what is a dialect? Yeah. So a dialect is something which is a way of speaking a language. Okay. So for example, if you know Hindi, I'll say hum sab yahan machine learning webinar attend kar rahe. It means every one of us is attending a webinar of machine learning. Now, if I go to Lucknow and I say hum machine learning webinar attend kar rahe, it doesn't mean we, it means I. Okay. So hum technically is has two meaning. One is me and one is we. Okay. Now that is a really just one word, and that too in different geographies, like one in Mumbai and one in Lucknow. Okay, and the meaning completely changes. So this is just one part of the language. Okay, the language I learned. There is Hindi, there's Rangpuri, there's Rangbashi, there's you know if you go to extreme north parts, or if you go to extreme south parts, there are so many different dialects of these languages. And as a machine learning engineer, this could be your problem statement, which you can solve using machine learning. Second part is how users behave on internet. Okay, so this is from last year's Twitter handle. I was just kind of going through Twitter, and I saw this trend happening in India. And when I see this, I saw this 1 million tweets, and 1 million tweets again. You start using set for TRP, and then justice for the same. And whenever something like this trends, you assume that something wrong has happened, and that's why it's trending. Okay, obviously it happens every hour. So something wrong happens, and after that, the Twitter trend starts, right? So I was very curious, and I clicked on this, and what I got to know was this is a Big Boss contestant. Okay, it's not about justice for anyone. It's just a Big Boss contestant, and they were just trending this for kind of getting more views or more exposure to that. And once you understand the audience which you are dealing with, that really gives you an upper hand while developing ML systems, because now you know what kind of audience you're dealing with, and you know that a single monolithic application, okay, which is like which just behaves same for everyone, cannot be implemented for such crowds, because that is really really difficult for people to operate. So what we do is we make systems which work with behaviors, okay, and we are able to get output for that systems. Let's go ahead and check them out. So I did a case study on, you can say, TikTok, and I found out that TikTok was one of the most liked applications in India. And if you see, it was installed on 30% of Indian phones, and the average time one person was spending on TikTok was more than 52 minutes. Okay, and if you see this graph, that was really really crazy. Okay, because you can see how Indians were reacting to TikTok application. Okay, and you know TikTok, you can say TikTok designed an algorithm, or they made their application in such a way, okay, that you don't have to even input something. Okay, it's so passive, it's so you can say friendly in nature, that you just download the app, and you fell in love with that. Okay, you start watching videos, and your hours are gone, and your hours are gone, and you don't even know what you were doing. Okay, just by just downloading the app and just navigating through some videos. So machine learning is responsible for that, obviously, because they use systems which personalize according to users. And by the record of studies, you can say just not just TikTok, all other applications which use machine learning have the same impact on Indians more than anyone else. Okay, it does have same impact on USA and other countries, but on Indians, because of the diversity of the people, it has more impact than a normal person out there living in another country. Okay, and that's a huge market, because now you understand that if you are making an application which can use machine learning at its core and can be designed for next billion users, you already have your users out there. Okay, so how much time did it took a Rocoso or a similar clone app of TikTok to get on the top? Once the TikTok was banned, it was just like a month, and they were already on the top. Okay, so yeah, let's get deeper into it. Okay, so you might have heard about a lot of companies saying voice first or AI first, right? Here, if you see, uh, many companies are actually focusing on voice first, and they are basically are like let's download the Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa, and so many different devices, Samsung Bixby, and so on and so forth. Why do you think companies are so much focused on voice? Like, there could be a reason, right? There should definitely be a reason that why people or companies are so much into voice, or they see voice as a solution. Okay, so if you are aware of this video, all the boys in the house or on the live stream, you might be aware of this video. If you are, then what I understood from this video was more majorly, whatever human beings like you and me, how do we interact with systems is basically using a keyboard or a touch screen and so on, and that doesn't really work well with the systems. Okay, because systems are pre-configurable, so it means that if you are pressing a button, it will take X action. If you are pressing a button, then it will take Y action, and there's nothing else which it can typically do unless there is explicit instruction to do so. Okay, and that is really hard to use for most of the people. Okay, and to give you an example, watch this video. Okay, people really understood the meaning of this video, even if they didn't understand the voice behind it, or they didn't understand the complete movie behind it. but they understood this scene very well because of the expressions, because of the voice melody, playing behind the scene, which was prompting them to understand, what the scene is conveying. And that's why you might be seeing companies like Google, okay, heavily investing, heavily marketing voice applications as first. Okay, so Google Play's Geo partnership actually, if you see their partnership is majorly for voice. Okay, the next billion users who are using voice, because this is where things get really crazy, and this is where machine learning really jumps in. Okay, machine learning, natural language processing, natural language understanding, and deep learning. So you will see a lot of applications of voice first, voice in banking, voice in every application, literally in every single application, because industry thinks that voice is a way more easier way of humans to interact with the system than using the touchscreen which you typically have been using till now, or by using button system which you have been using till now. And again a hit for machine learning developers, is because you are always there in demand, and you will always be having a job, because when we talk about voice first, it's not just like making a model and it will work. It includes bunch of different systems and different processes which you need to kind of come up with. So yeah, next thing which I usually tell to people is, what do we have the most? Okay, and the answer to that is obviously, what do we have the most is we have people the most. And when we have people the most, another very brilliant use case of machine learning. So it is not machine learning, you can say pre-machine learning, is crowdsourcing. Okay, so what we realize in today's world is that data is very important. Okay, and data is very very important in today's world. Without data, there's nothing quite not possible, because if you don't have data, you technically are at zero. Okay, now for machine learning systems to work, we need data. Okay, if there is no data, then obviously machine learning systems will fail, they won't work. Okay, now to collect data, what do we know? What do we do? Like, we require people, obviously. Without people, collecting data is very hard, and it is a problem which is unsolved till date. Okay, so there are data sets which are available, which are auto generated by using GANs and different stuff, but again they are not accurate, they are not up to the mark, and they are not as good as it is required for ML systems to learn. And that's where a lot of people in India come into the place, because we have population the most, and we can use them to generate massive amount of data for crowdsourcing, and we can actually employ a lot of people using that tactics, and at the same time we can solve machine learning problems, and give this data to machine learning engineers who can use this and solve real world problems. So that is another very amazing use case which you can go through, and you can, if you are able to, if you are more excited about this use case, you should definitely go and check it out. Okay, okay, let me have a look at the chat and see if there are any questions or something. Okay, so there is a question from Himanshu which says, what do you say, Ali? Why more impact of ML is in India? So if you see, the answer to this question is very simple. Okay, Indian audience is very much lazy. Okay, in terms of, even in terms of consuming content. Okay, they don't really want to kind of go ahead and try to explore options. So what they do is basically they will settle down, even if it is a fake news. Okay, so fake news is one of the major problems in India. And if you see how fake news is kind of transmitted using WhatsApp groups, and how it is transferred to every single person, like kind of, if you see foreigners reacting to that news, it's very different than how Indian people react to that news. Many people will actually believe that this news is really true, and they will kind of devote too much of their energy into that application. Okay, and that is a plus point and a negative point as well. A plus point in terms of developers, because when you have a lazy audience and you configure a machine learning system, people tend to use your app more. For example, if you see Facebook, if you see Instagram, if you see all these social media applications, why people use it more and more is because they get tailored content. Okay, they don't have to kind of search for content. Okay, Else, people would be spending more of the time in Googling stuff than on Instagram and Facebook, right? Because if they love to kind of, discover content themselves, they would definitely go to Google and kind of, search for content. But, because most of the people are kind of lazy, they don't want to kind of get out of their comfort zone and go and try out some different stuff. What will happen is if you're a developer, that is a plus one for you. But again, that is a minus one for India as a whole. But yeah, that is another topic which we can discuss later on. But yeah, this is the number one reason why it is more effective in India than in other countries. Okay, uh, a survey reveals that 97% of the Indians don't read terms of condition of any given application, whatever they are signing for. Okay, and that compared to foreigners is around 40%. Okay, where 60% of the people actually read what is being collected and what is being stored. Okay, so that's just one example to tell you. Okay, now that we have discussed some of the use cases of machine learning, let's see what is machine learning and how it can be implemented, and if machine learning is applicable on this problem statement. So what you see in front of you is a video of a man segregating pomegranates according to its size. Okay, you can say um, the bigger one goes into the last box, the smaller one goes into the first box, and according to size, this system works. Do you think we need machine learning here? I'll wait for your answers. Yeah. Do you think machine learning is really required in this situation? Yeah. Like, do we need machine learning algorithms here, or it is a very good, normal problem which can be solved without machine learning? Yes. Please put your opinions in the chat because I'm watching it. So I don't like to speak to myself a lot. Okay, so Himanshu says he doesn't think so. Yeah, that is totally, a right way of thinking. Anyone else would like to draw some opinion? Yeah. So this problem can definitely, be solved using machine learning. You can actually implement machine learning algorithm and solve this problem, but it would be an unnecessary task. Okay. Why? Because for this farmer, okay, if you develop a system, what you will need is you will need a camera, you will need a mobile phone maybe, where he can classify this, you will need a system, okay, in place which can actually help him out. We cannot just make an app and say that, oh, it works. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay. So whenever you're working on a problem statement, understand that machine learning, even if it is applicable, how much profit are you going to generate after implementing machine learning algorithms? Okay, for this individual guy, will that recover your cost of making the machine? Will that recover the cost to this guy who is actually kind of working with the solution or xyz factors? Okay, so you need to consider all these factors. Now answer me this question: if there are 100 farmers like him, okay, and then obviously this will become into 100. Yeah. So now is ML still kind of, can we implement ML now, or is it still far from now? Should we implement ML now? Now there are 100 farmers, okay, and they produce 100x fruit, which this guy is classifying. Yeah, right, Imanshu. His technology is really much better than what we might kind of go and give him, because it doesn't really matter to him, because he just wants it to be cheap. Yeah, can you please add that into comments? Yes. Why yes now? Because we have quantity, and because if you see, even if I'm saying there are 1,000 pomegranates here, then it becomes 1 lakh pomegranate. Okay, and if there are 100 farmers, okay, who are producing such amount of pomegranate, then it is very difficult for people to set up machines like this and work with it for days. Okay, why? Because this thing might get rotten. There are many other reasons, and so on and so forth. So for an individual farmer, it is okay if he is not using that, because his system works and he doesn't have to incur cost. But if there are 100 farmers, 1000 farmers, and they are all solving the same problem, they want a solution to this problem, and they all, if you can make a collective profit to all of them, then making a machine learning system for that problem is really helpful. Okay, so understand profitability. Okay, because profit is something which is required. Okay, without profit, businesses don't run. Okay, without profit, you don't get salary. Okay, so as a machine learning engineer, your job is to make sure that the people you're working with get some profit. Okay, get some more money, or their time is saved in such a way that they can invest that time somewhere else, and that will kind of help them, or the complete organization. Okay, so remember this point as well before we go to the technical session. Okay, so let's start with the technical session. Now we are, starting with the technical session, and here I will try to explain you what is machine learning and what is deep learning and what is artificial intelligence, and we will then talk about some problem statements and so on. Now this is a non-coding session, so don't expect me to write some code, but I do have amazing codes on my YouTube channel. There is ML 90 days, ML in 90 minutes, where you can see a lot of code as well. So you can check out that video. I will share all the links at the end. But yeah, stick to this as of now. Okay. So now we understand what are the problems being faced by the people, and we understand that there is a technology which can solve these problems. So now let's learn the technology. Okay, technology always comes second. Okay, okay, so what is machine learning? Why is there so much of hype about machine learning? I'm just if you talk about 3 years back, it was not so much in hype. No one wanted to learn machine learning. Okay, believe me, I was why. So I will tell you one secret of my success. Okay, till now, the secrets of my success was when I learned machine learning. Okay, when I was just starting my career, and I learned Python, and then I learned machine learning. There were not much people who were talking about machine learning, and people didn't knew about machine learning, and I was like kind of a unique person, kind of back then in my batch, who knew about machine learning and how it operates and how it works. Okay, and that was a plus point for me. That's why I got much of an exposure, and I got much of a talk at different organizations, different communities, and so forth. And that's why you can say I was much more in limelight back then, and that's how I continued my journey. Okay, but if today you want to take a session on machine learning, okay, you will find so many people taking sessions on machine learning, so many people taking sessions on machine learning, that there are more teachers and there are more learners. Okay, and on YouTube, you just search for machine learning, and you will find so many of the videos that there are you can definitely say that there are more teachers than there are more learners. Okay, because now it is hype. Okay, and people say that it is so. There are two kinds of people you will find on the internet. Okay, one person who says, this is hype. Okay, my drawing is not so good, so I'll just draw some hair for him. Okay, okay, that's good. You want me to draw some fingers? Okay, let me draw some fingers. Okay, so there are two types of people in this world. Okay, one who say that machine learning is just hype. Okay, it's just hype. It's nothing more than hype. Okay, so people will be like, it is just hype. Just forget about it. Just don't study about it. Okay, it is just hype. People are learning it, and just ignore it. There are one kind of people like this. Okay, and then there are another kind of people. They are like, machine learning is the only technology in this world. Okay, there is nothing else apart from machine learning, and machine learning is the only technology, and everyone should learn machine learning, like everyone. Okay, everyone is in this world, like even a 5 year old should learn machine learning, because that is required, that is necessary. It is like oxygen. Okay, so there are two kind of people in this world, and they both are wrong. Okay, because machine learning is not a hype. Okay, it is a reality, and it is really really good thing. Okay, it is not a hype. It is not completely on that part. Second part, no, not everyone is required to learn machine learning. Okay, it is a total lie. It is not like everyone needs, they need to have the knowledge of machine learning. No, if it is so, who is going to learn Mon stack? Okay, who is going to learn mean stack? Okay, who is going to develop the websites? Who is going to develop the apps? Okay, who is going to develop all this stuff? Okay, you are only going to develop machine learning algorithms. Where are you going to implement all that algorithms, right? Are you going to implement that in your demo projects or something? No, right? You need developers who can develop apps, who can develop websites using Monstack, using Meanstack, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you need developers. Definitely, that's a plus 1 point. So that's where you draw a line and you say, I am third kind of a person. Okay, so for me as an individual, okay, this technology is base. Okay, so let me draw the third person here. The third person is here. Okay, and what does the third person says? The third person says that for him, all this app development and machine learning, sorry, not machine learning, apart from machine learning, all this app development, MERN, mean stack and everything is base. Okay, this is base. Everyone should know this. And then on top of that, if I learn machine learning, if I learn blockchain, if I learn, all these fancy technologies, then that is plus one, or that is bonus. Okay, so this guy can be, you can say he is like well suited and he can excel at it. Okay, now there are also another part. Okay, so obviously it is not like that you should not totally involve yourself in learning all this stuff as well. So there is another part of people, that is fourth part of people. Okay, and I'll talk about them right here. So then there comes another person. Okay, and he really thinks that machine learning is something he should learn. Okay, and his interest is machine learning, and he's good with maths. Okay, he's good with stats, and he really believes that machine learning is something which he should learn. And then he can definitely master all this stuff and then learn machine learning and then do research. Okay, so this is another part where you can follow. So either you can be a developer, means learning the base technology and then applying ML on top of that, or be a complete researcher who is learning, who is learning maths, stats, and then doing research and then implementing papers. Okay, submitting papers, doing research, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so just to clear out all these things. Okay, okay. Now, what is machine learning? Okay, so before we get technical, remember that it is nothing is hard. It just depends on the people who are explaining you. So if the teacher is interesting, then the topic becomes interesting. If the teacher is not interesting, then the topic doesn't seem interesting. Simple as that. So yeah. So what is machine learning? So machine learning in simple terms is something where we have some data. Okay, and we call this data as teaching set. Okay, so we have some data and we call this data as teaching set. Okay, and then what we do is we train a machine learning model. Okay, or we kind of use a simple machine learning system, and then we pass this data. Okay, teaching set, and then we define an algorithm, and then you can say the algorithm learns from this data and improves and improves and improves, and over time it becomes smarter, and you can say that it is as good as human. Okay, so it can do tasks which it was intended to do, where which training teaching data set you passed in. Now this might not seem so easy, so let me explain this in a very simple term. So okay, so there are some questions. I will take that questions at the end because that is something which you should know, but yeah, I will take them at the end. Okay, okay. So what is machine learning? Think of machine learning as a child. Okay, can anyone tell me what is the child doing? Can you please put that in the chats? Yeah, what is the child doing? What is the child doing? Is he laughing or what? Okay, so one person says he's crying. Okay, so DSC guy says that he's crying. Okay, I will write your opinion here. He's crying. Okay, now can you tell me why he's crying? Everybody can see, why he's crying. He's crying. Why? Because you can see the mouth is open, tears in his eyes and so on and so forth. So that's why he's crying. Now, why he's crying? Why? Let's try to reason. Come on, chat, be active, please. I really want to understand your opinion so that I can, kind of look into here and make it more interactive. Why is this guy crying? What could be possibly wrong with him? Yeah, why he must be crying? Let me add some boxes and wait for you guys to add some reasons. So Srijan says that he wants something. Okay, so he has wants which needs to be fulfilled. Okay, his mom haven't given him biscuits. Yes, Imanshu is right. He's hungry, so he needs biscuit. Okay, or he needs his mom. Okay, yeah, that is also a valid point. He needs his mom. Okay, now if you are a new parent, okay, and this is your child, obviously what you will do, you will try these points. Okay, you will be like, you will ask him, hey, what do you want? Obviously he cannot speak, so this option gets eradicated. Okay, then you're like, oh, are you hungry? So you will give him some chocolates, you will kind of give him some milk or something, and if he doesn't stop crying, then you probably think he's not hungry. Then the mom comes in, and the mom is like, he picks him up, and she picks him up and she's like, okay, just stop crying, and then he doesn't stop crying. So this option is also eradicated. Now the mom has to again think why this guy is crying. Okay, and the possible reason could be he has done some potty and he needs some cleaning work. Okay, and that's why he's crying. Okay, so if you see this process, this is machine learning in a very simple term. What is this? This is machine learning in a very, very simple term. Okay, it's you can say that what is happening here, there is training data. What is the training data? Baby crying, just crying. Okay, and then what happens? You try to predict stuff. Hey, are you hungry? Hey, do you want mom? Hey, do you want ice cream? XYZ, 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 and then you are kind of zero down on one part, and then XYZ factor. Okay, now let me give you another good example. Okay, yeah. So another good example is, let's say this guy goes to a mall. Okay, and he sees some toys. He's like, he sees some toys. Okay, and now this guy wants these toys. What will he do? He doesn't own money, right? Obviously, he doesn't have money. So money is equal to zero. So he cannot buy it, obviously. So what he will do, technically, he will ask mom, right? That, hey mom, I want these toys. Okay. And then the mom is like, okay, let's draw the mom. The mom is like, no, I am not buying you that toy. What will this guy do? He will cry. Okay. Obviously, he has nothing to do. He will cry. Mom again says, no, 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 we are not going to buy this. So she's again like, no, we are not going to buy this. No, not at all. What is his next step? He will sit down and cry. So he will sit down on the floor. Okay. And he will start crying loudly. Okay. Why does he do so? Because he wants attention, obviously. Okay. Now, once he have the attention of the people nearby, so what will happen? A lot of people nearby will start looking at mom. They'll be like, such a cruel lady. She cannot buy a toy for him. Okay. They will kind of look at her. And at that moment, she'll be like, okay, okay, we will buy it. Okay. And she'll be like, okay, yes, you can get it. And then she will buy the toy. Okay. What did the child learn? What did the child learn? The learning was, if you want something, cry loudly, okay, and sit down on the floor and cry, because that is the most effective way it works, okay. So sit down on the floor and cry, and that is how it will work, okay. Now he goes to an ice cream shop. So everything back to zero. He goes to an ice cream shop. What will he do if he wants that ice cream? Now my drawing is not so good. Again, he will do the same stuff. Okay. He will be like cry, then sit down and cry. Okay, same stuff, same stuff. Okay. Nothing more works. It will be like he will be doing same stuff. Okay. Now let's fast forward this time. And now this child is you. Okay. So I'm assuming that your age is 20 or 19 or 18 years old or 22 years old. Okay. And this is you. Okay. Now you want PlayStation. The new one is in the market, guys. Okay. What will you do? Yes. What will you do? What's your analogy now? Will you cry? Obviously alone. Yeah, that is there. But will you cry in the mall if you go in the mall and then there is your dad standing out there, and then you're like, hey dad, can you buy me PlayStation? And then you're like, dad is like, no. Then will you cry? Will you sit down on the floor and cry like you did, like this child did when he was, younger you, right? So your typical sense would be like, crying doesn't help. Okay, I am a grown adult. So if I cry, nothing is gonna happen. Obviously, no one cares. So if I want to buy this PlayStation, what I need is I need money. Okay. And without money, nothing is gonna work. So I need money to buy this PlayStation. And or I need to crack some deals with my dad. Okay, that if I score, 10 pointers, I need that you know, I need that PlayStation. If I, get a package of this much, I will get a PlayStation and so on and so forth. And that's what your negotiation skills are. So what happened over time? What happened in this 20 years when you grew up from from 2 years to 20 years? What happened in this 20 years? What did you learn? You learn life. Okay. So what did you see? You see everyday data. Okay, you see data points. So you see that how things work and how things don't work. And then you realize that if you want something, you need money. And you need money, you need permission. If you are an Indian, obviously you need permission. Without permission, even if you have money, you cannot do anything. Okay. So you need permission, that is plus one. Okay. So permission, and then you need money. Okay. And that's how you can definitely, get something if you want. If you don't have permission and if you have money, so for example, Goa plan, everyone has money, but they don't have permission. So it gets cancelled by default. Okay. So you realize that, over time, you get smarter. Okay. Your brain, which is very little. Okay. And what happens, this brain learns. It learns from experiences. Okay. And it gets experiences on a daily basis, and it learns. And once it learns, it tells you that, okay, this is what is right and this is what is wrong. Okay. And that's how you are kind of, doing a number of things. So machine learning is just this child. Okay. You can analyze this analogy and you can definitely, explain machine learning very much, deeply. So yeah, I hope you understand what is machine learning right now. Now, you might be wondering that, hey, Ali, you told us that, there is a lot of data which this guy sees as an individual, right? But, you know, like how does this data look like? Okay. How does it work? Okay, what are the types of machine learning which people talk about, and what should I learn? What should I learn first, and which should I master? Okay, so when we talk about data, okay, data is always not complete. Okay, sometimes it is empty. It has a lot of noise. So data in real world is not just data. It is data, noise, a lot of stuff. Okay, so in real world you will sometimes have complete data. That means you will have data which has some features, okay, and then the answer to the feature. An example of that data type, for example, you add curd, okay, and then you add, let's say, cucumber plus tomato, and if you add all this, you will get salad, typical Indian salad. Okay. So what is this? You have input data and you have output data, corresponding output data. Okay. For example, 1024 MB equal to what? Yes. Can someone tell me? 1000 meters is equals to dash kilometers. Yeah. Very simple. Okay. So till you guys answer that in the chats, I'll definitely have a look at that. Okay. Okay. So here you know that the input data is also given and the output data is also given. That's why you know, right? If someone told you that, okay, 1024 MB, okay. Now, if they didn't tell you that that is equals to 1 GB, then you will definitely be like, oh, what is 102, 1024 MB means? Okay, it just means 1024 MB. Simple as that, right? Because you don't know the conversion value. So the first type of data is input plus output. That is input X and output Y. You have both the data. Okay. So the first category is you have X and you have Y. You have both the data. Okay. And that is what we call as supervised machine learning. Okay. Where we say that we have both the inputs. So we will do supervised machine learning model. Okay. Or supervised machine learning modeling. Then comes a situation where you don't have all the data. Okay. So at this given point, you are more like, like you have some data and you don't have all the data. Okay. For example, let's do the same stuff. Okay. Let's take an example. For example, Amol likes metal music. Okay. So Amol, there is only one table. Okay. And then Amol likes metal music. Okay. And then Ali likes rock. Okay. And so on and so forth. So here you do have an input. Okay. And you do have some features in the input. Okay. But if you want to ask answer, how many people, where you don't have a certain, a certain output. So they didn't tell you that, if Ali's interest, in music is just like, you can say it's not just rock, it's more than rock. So obviously Ali doesn't only listen to rock. There are much more music formats which Ali listens to. Okay, so here the output is not given. They have only given some input, like for example, name and the type of music which you like. Okay, and they have not given more like which kind of, which specific music do you like, which specific song you might like in that specific category. Now here what you will do is you will collect all the people who write metal, then all the people who write like rock, and all the people who write other kind of people, and then you will make a cluster of them. And then you will be like, okay, if these many people kind of like this music, then we will go to some of the metal music and we will see if they like it or not. Okay, so here the X is given but the Y is missing. Okay, so X is given and Y is missing. Okay, and this kind is called as unsupervised machine learning. Okay, where you don't have the input properly, so you have you don't have the output, you just have input. Okay, let me erase all this stuff. And then there comes another type. Okay, so there are kind of bunch of types here, but yeah, we will just discuss about these two types for now, and we will go deeper into them. Okay, Now, in the first part, which is supervised machine learning problem, there is input, there is output. But if the output is discrete, what is discrete means, for example, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, means this is not continuous. For example, there are only one class of, there is only 1 and 2 set. Okay, there are no more numbers than 1 and 2. They are only repeating in the set. Okay, so this is discrete, this is not continuous. So if this is discrete, then it is called as classification problem. Okay, so if it is discrete, then it is called as classification problem. So why? Because we are classifying stuff. Okay, so classification problem. My handwriting is also not so good, so just understand that as classification. Okay, now if the same stuff, okay, the same stuff becomes continuous. What is continuous? For example, 1.1, 1.3, 2.2, 2.3, 2, 4. Now here you cannot define a proper set. You cannot, define a proper set of numbers. You will actually define a pattern. Okay, so it'll be like, it will start from 1 or somewhere, and then it will go till 4 or something. Okay, and there will be something in between them. Okay, so maybe greater than or less than or something like that, where it stays in upper boundary and a lower boundary and something like that. Now it just means that it is continuous. Okay, it is continuous in nature. Okay, so for that reason, what we will say is, if this kind of problems, where the output is continuous in nature, then it is called as a regression problem. Okay, so it is called as a regression problem. So classification problem, discrete. Regression problem, continuous. Okay, now for beginners, this knowledge is more than enough. If you want to learn more, you can definitely Google stuff, but for beginners, I feel this knowledge is enough to get started. Okay, so let's solve a machine learning problem, a real world machine learning problem. Okay, so what is a real world machine learning problem? The real world machine learning problem, also, I know that the time is running by. So this is the last example probably, and we will finish after this very soon. So just give me 10 more minutes and then we are good. Okay. Okay. So let's solve a real world problem. Okay. So everyone uses emoji. Yeah. I hope everyone uses emoji. Okay. So if you are using emojis, then you might be using a lot of emojis, right? And there are 3,000 plus emojis available. Okay, and you typically use emojis for kind of, a lot of messaging your girlfriend, messaging your friends, and so on and so forth, right? And you use emojis a lot, right? So let's solve a machine learning problem which will help us understand everything we did till now, so that we can revise it. Okay. Okay, now the problem statement which I want to solve is, so let's say, I'm single for now, but I definitely, want a girlfriend in the near future. So the problem is that many people tell me, people cheat, and how you will understand, or how you will understand how people will cheat or not. Now, my way of understanding that, because I'm a technical guy, is that what I'm going to do is I'm going to check recent emojis. Okay, so I don't want to keep a watch on her messages or something like that. Now it can be vice versa as well. Okay, so it's not just for it's, if you're in a relationship, it is vice versa as well. It is not just for the opposite half. So it is for both of them. Okay. Okay, so I will check the recent emojis, and if the recent emojis contain some features, then definitely I will be suspicious, because if I didn't send these emojis, then this is going to be, a ton of a problem, because I have not sent that emojis and someone else is chatting. So yeah, that becomes a lot of problem. So yeah, this is a very simple way. So the problem statement is to identify if someone is cheating on us or not. Okay, and for that, our data set is big. So we need to identify some features. Okay, so remember that your data set is always going to be bigger. Okay, so data is not equal to feature. Okay, so data is not equal to feature. Okay, never. Data is not equal to feature. So what is feature? Features is data minus noise is equal to features. Okay, that means we have data, but we don't need extra noise. Noise in this case is extra features, which doesn't make sense. So the emoji is a lot of them, right? So here we don't need extra emojis. Okay, so here we need to kind of uh, identify some features which we are going to use to pass in our machine learning problem statement. Okay, so as you know, we are solving this problem. Uh, some emojis which come to my mind can be this. Now, because I'm not in a relationship, so I cannot tell you, which emojis you can use. But these are some of the emojis which you can definitely, you know, uh, mark as suspicious for now. But yeah, there are some outliners we'll discuss about them. But yeah, for now, these are some of the emojis. Okay. And the data set is quite big. So here also there are some emojis. And these are the emojis which they might be using for communicating. Now, if I want to make a system, obviously from our previous conversation, okay, features represent X and multiple features. Obviously, there are multiple features. So, for example, there are more than 3 features. So it will be X by N, that is X1, X2, X3. So here you can see we have multiple emojis. So our feature is more than X, and that is XN. Okay. And that is how it is represented here, multiple emoji set in that feature. And then comes Y, which is our output, couple or not couple. Which kind of problem is this? Is it a classification problem or is it a regression problem? Can anyone tell me? Which kind of problem is this? So to check that, very simple thing you need to do is you need to make that chart which I made earlier. Okay. So you open that. You're like, do we have X? Yes, we have X. Do we have Y? Yes, we have Y. So it is supervised machine learning problem. Now, in X, in Y, let's check Y. In Y, is the output continuous or is the output discrete? Yes, output is discrete. There are only 2 sets. Okay, let's name it 0 and 1. That is couple and not couple. So this is a classification problem. Okay, so that's good. Let's erase all this and let's move on. So before we move ahead, a very small game. Which movie is this? Nirja. Which movie is this? Dostana. Which movie is this? Obviously, Titanic. And which movie is this? Yeah, Life of a Pi. So yeah, here you can see how you were able to kind of understand different kinds of movies, okay, and how emojis represent these movies. So they have a lot of features. We just need to make a right pair. So this is how we frame our machine learning problem. We have multiple data sources, some recent emoji screenshots, okay, and then some output saying yes they are in the relationship or no they are not in relationship. So some outputs, okay, and then our machine learning. So what is machine learning here? Okay, so what is a model which we have been talking about till now? So it is something which is like this. Okay, so here this is our machine learning algorithm. Okay, now when I say algorithm, it just means that this is bunch of code, okay, which can find the relationship between X and Y. Okay, so interestingly, what this algorithm does is it will use a function called as fit. Okay, so it will use a function called as fit. And fit function, what it will do is it will find the relationship between X and relationship between Y. Now, once it is able to find the relationship between X and Y, we can save that as a model. And then we can pass an unknown image, and then we can say that there is 70% probability that this guy or girl might be in a relationship or XYZ or XYZ factor. Okay. I hope this clears a lot of doubts. So yeah, as a machine learning engineer, you are doing this, you are doing this, and you are doing this as well. Okay. So as a machine learning engineer, your job is to collect data. Then your job is to model this data. Okay. Using supervised machine learning model here. Okay. And then test this and then deploy this as an output so that people can use it. If you can go to that ML in 90 minutes, that will show you how to deploy this model as well. Meanwhile, we can say that in a boys group or in a girls group, there are kind of outliners where they don't talk in recent emojis, but they talk in this kind of, what do we call this? Streakers, yeah. So they talk in mostly streakers, and hence these are outliners. Okay. So we never trained our model for this kind of parts, and we don't want to include them because they're like, so many of them. So yeah, these are kind of outliners, we can say. But yeah, that is good. So, and every machine learning model, your model is not going to be perfect, but yeah, there is always going to be some system error, or there is always going to be some kind of backslash where you are not where you are not intending it to work for that. But yeah, it is what it is. Now, remember whenever you are starting to learn machine learning, remember these names, please. Okay, and these are not just few names. I am very much emphasizing on this because there are many more names apart from these. Okay, and the first one is John McCarthy, Geoffrey Hinton, Jan Ligon, Yoshia Bengio. They all are tuning award winners. Okay, Edward is also an amazing scientist, and he is also, co-winner of Turing Award. Then Jabdeen, he works for Google AI Brain Team. Alan Turing, the first guy who invented the concept of, how we are going to the tuning test. I hope you are aware of it. Okay. And then Francis, the creator of Keras. Now, Francis had actually played a very major role in bringing ML to everyone. Okay, ML to everyone because this is Jan Ligan, okay, doing machine learning on his old system, okay, and identifying digits using machine learning. Okay, yeah, we still do this kind of problem statements. Okay, so you can use Keras and you can use libraries. So technically, when we talk about machine learning, we don't implement it from scratch. Okay, we never implement it from scratch. Okay, we implement it using libraries. Which kind of libraries? Scikit-learn, okay, Keras, Tensorflow, PyTorch, okay. We use these libraries to implement or solve a problem. Why do we do so? Because there are really, used codes behind these algorithms, and that's why you can say that, like it is, if you want to, definitely you can, make your own algorithms. But yeah, if you are newbie, you definitely would want to kind of start with this names first. Okay. Now the history goes way back, so I'm not going into history. But this is the year when deep learning, actually came. It is called as deep learning revolution. That means deep learning actually hit the rooftop. And yeah, Andrew Ng, yeah, I know. So Andrew Ng is really also an awesome instructor. So if you talk about the AI hype, it was because of Andrew Ng. Okay, so because Andrew Ng actually launched, he was doing ML course at Stanford. Okay, and that course was launched publicly for everyone, and that's how the hype for AI ML was created. Okay, so but you can obviously count him as an educator, but if you talk about all these people whom I mentioned in the previous slide, they have been working. So if you talk about Geoffrey, like in the year 2000 and so on, like in this segment basically, okay, in this segment, these guys were really very active. Okay, and they have contributed a lot. Okay, so if you talk about any technology, it's not like one two people have kind of contributed, but there are a bunch of people, a lot of people. So it is possibly not, you know, uh, not possible to name everyone. So yeah, you can definitely, once you start your journey, you will meet a lot of people and you will remember their names. Obviously, when you start automating things, and so there is a difference between if else, and there I have seen a lot of YouTubers saying that ML is equal to if else. Okay, a lot of them, and that's I don't know what to tell them, but yeah, people, a lot of YouTubers are like ML is just if else statement. Okay, that's good as meme, but it is not. Okay, so what is if else? If else is nothing but automation. Okay, it is automation. It's very simple. It's automation. Automation of doing stuff, right? What is ML? ML is automation of automation. Okay, so if someone asks you this question, be ready with the answer. Okay, if else is nothing but automation. Okay, simple programming automation where you kind of add some stuff, it automatically classifies into right, left, right, left, right, left, center, etc., etc., etc. And it is just conditions. Okay, it is not more than that. Okay, but when we talk about machine learning, it is automation of automation. Okay, and that's why you will definitely see a lot of people losing their jobs, because it is not just automation, it is automation of automation, but at the same time a lot of people gaining a lot of jobs as well. So it is obvious. Okay, now if you go 1000 or 2000 or 10,000 years back, and you're like uh, here you have a round wheel and a square wheel. Okay, and you in stone age, you are like, hey man, I'm not going to switch to round wheel, I love the square wheel. Okay, so if you are that kind of guy, obviously you are definitely gonna be out marketed. Okay, you are not gonna be useful, because you are still thinking that box will work for me. Okay, even though people have invented the round wheel, again you don't want to learn how to operate round wheel, so you will definitely be out of market. Okay, that is evolution. Okay, that is how humans survive, and that is how we will survive in the near future. So if the pandemic happened and people are like, oh my god, it's pandemic, so what we are going to do, we are going to sit home forever. That doesn't work out, right? We are human beings, we try to find out solutions, and we found out a solution, we found out webinars, right? So I have done so many webinars in this pandemic, like I cannot even remember the number of webinars I have taken in this pandemic. Okay, so yeah, you need to adapt. If I don't adapt, then definitely you are out of job. So I am a trainer. Okay, my job is to train people. Now if I'm like, no man, who will train people online, right? It's so boring, you're just speaking and then people are on a chat, and then how you interact with them and so on and so forth. It's just so boring. I don't want to do that. What will happen? I will be out of shape. I will be out of my regular way of delivery, and I will be not as good as I was earlier. So remember that evolution is something, it is basic. Okay, you should know that. So definitely it's going to take away a lot of job, but it will create a lot of job as well. Okay, now that we are at the end. Okay, um, always remember, data is not going to be that fancy. So here I have given the same thing in tabular format, not so fancy format. So this is training data, and this is session data. So training data, we are you can see that we are dividing this data into train and test, and here we have data in the format of table. So this is X and this is Y. Can anyone tell me which kind of problem is this? Yes, can you tell me which kind of problem is this? This is a classification problem, right? Yes, cool. So we need to implement that, right? So how many lines of code it will take? Only 6 lines of code. Okay, so this is how it will take to use a library like scikit-learn. Okay, and write your first machine learning model. Very easy. You can watch my video of ML in 90 minutes. Okay, 90 minutes. I have two videos out there on the channel. You can watch both of them and you will understand what is happening here in the code. Okay. Because this is not a technical session for explaining the code. I'm not explaining the code. Okay. So yeah, uh, if you want to learn machine learning, definitely go ahead and grab a library which you are fond of. For example, TensorFlow. Okay, that will really be helpful. Or scikit-learn or Keras or PyTorch, and learn about them. Okay, master them. That will be really helpful. Okay, so that's probably the end of the session. Other things are just some demos which I might show you sometime later maybe. But for now, this is kind of the end of the session. Um, One thing which I want to share with you is about the market, how the market looks like. So as we can see, the hottest role, machine learning engineer, is one of them. But app development is also one of them. Backend developer is also one of them. Full stack is also one of them. Data scientist, okay. Customer success manager, digital marketing, sales, Python developer. These are also jobs which are coming up and which are also famous. So remember, market is really huge. It is not like if you don't learn machine learning, you will be out of the market. But yeah, in the near future, you will have different verticals. Okay. And in that verticals, you will have different jobs. So keep a look at the roles, keep a look at the market, and adapt accordingly. Also remember, in general, computing roles are definitely going to go up. You might understand this by this pandemic only. Okay. How many people have started using computer and mobile phones only in this pandemic? You know already. Okay, I don't need to answer. Pandemic has given this a lot more boost. So remember, even an electronic engineer is going to work in a CS field. A mechanical engineer is going to work in a CS field because CS has a lot of jobs to offer. Okay, still we have a lot of vacancies. Okay, so definitely you can find a good amount of jobs in computer science. So if you are looking forward to change your field, definitely do it. Okay, yeah, we have a lot of jobs here. Okay, so that's it from my side. I hope I was not so boring, and I have taken a lot of minutes. It's total 80 minutes. The session was actually only scheduled for around 45 minutes, but yeah, sorry for that, for extending it to half an hour. But I hope it was helpful, and I hope you learned something out of this. Okay, and if you did, definitely do reach out to me, and I will be more than happy to help you out for your questions if there are any in the near future. Okay, and I'm sending some links in the chat as well, which you can use to learn machine learning without any coding. Okay, and like you can go to that link and you can have a look at these videos. Okay, these are just few of them, and you can definitely go to my YouTube channel like mentioned before, and you can check out that videos as well. Okay, so if there are any questions, I will be more than happy to take few questions, not all of them, because I am already kind of running late, and I already have another session as well. So I would take some queries, some of the questions if you have, basically two or three. So yeah, Samar, if you have any questions in the
Yep.
live chat, you can definitely put it up, and I will be more than happy to answer them right now.
Sure.
Yeah, so the link which I've right now send you is about the link to my non-coding video. Okay, and you can definitely go to this URL and have a look at all this different videos which I develop on my YouTube channel. So that will help you in many ways in learning ML and also in learning cloud. So I also teach cloud there. So yeah, these are two things which I go and teach. So yep,
Yep.
I
Ali,
guess
there is a one
everything is
more.
fine.
Yep.
Yeah,
There
go
is a
ahead, go ahead.
question from Surya, and he want to know what
Sure,
is the difference between ML, AI, and deep learning. So,
sure. So ML, so if you see, AI is the bigger picture. Okay, so earlier we didn't have the concept, or we didn't much for like there is ML, there is DL. No, earlier it was AI. Okay, it was only AI, and you might be hearing like there is only artificial intelligence and so on. And AI is kind of bigger picture where we say that AI is achieving human level intelligence. Okay, so when we talk about artificial intelligence systems, we usually you might see people, using AI ML interchangeably. Okay, like so people will be like, hey, we are doing AI and ML, we are doing ML and DL. Okay, so that is also some way wrong because I will explain you the strategy. Okay, so it is more like, AI is the bigger picture, and then inside AI there is ML, and inside ML there is DL. Okay, so AI is the superset, and then inside AI then comes machine learning. So what is machine learning? Machine learning is practical implementation. Okay, so for example, self-driving car. Okay, how are you going to do that? So you will require machine learning for that. Okay, you will require some algorithms which are going to be implemented on device. Okay, which can work, which can give you some outputs. Okay, and then comes deep learning. Deep learning is better way of machine learning. So you are like, okay, uh, in machine learning, what we do is we have algorithms, we have decision trees, we have random forest, we have, X number of algorithms which can give us solutions. But deep learning shows us more promise than machine learning. So deep learning is a bunch of neurons. It interacts with each other. It learns faster. It can solve multiple amazing problems as well. So we are more like, deep learning is more useful. So deep learning is a way of machine learning. Okay, so I hope that definitely helps you in answering this question. Also, there is obviously, some detailed explanation, and I have mentioned that in other videos as well. So yeah, do check them out. If there are other
Yep.
questions, let's take one more.
Yep. There is a one more question: how to embedded ML model in the web application from Surya.
Yeah.
So
So when you're working with machine learning systems, so what happens is you usually write code in Python. Okay. For example, you're working with Scikit, or you're working with TensorFlow, or you're working with PyTorch. You will write code in Python. Okay. So what you can do is you can either switch your complete application to Python. So for example, you can use Flask or Django and do web development in Python as well. Okay, or else what you can do is you can use you can use a Python server, and you can use REST API. So what you can do is you can make a Flash server out of your model, and then you can use that as a REST API. Okay, and then you can obviously, if it is REST, you can use it anywhere. You can use it on Android app, you can use it anywhere you want. Okay, and you can deploy that on Heroku, or you can deploy that on any other server, or you can use TensorFlow.js and write machine learning in JavaScript and then deploy that as well. So that is also something which you can do.
okay. So it's the final question from Gitanjali, and he want to know what is the use of TensorFlow. It's a final question.
Okay. So the TensorFlow is, you can say, TensorFlow is a machine learning and a deep learning library. Okay. So when I say library, it comes with a lot of stuff by not just, writing models. So it comes with pre-processing of data. It comes with defining model, writing model, training model on scale, not just on one GPU, training model on multiple GPUs. Okay. And then deploying that model to, millions and billions of people. So it's not just using your own for your own self or for your own problem statement, for giving that to kind of using serving that for using thousands and thousands of people, so that they can come and they can kind of look at it and they can kind of feel it. Okay, so when you work with a framework, it comes with a lot of stuff, okay, which can make your development easy. And TensorFlow is one such framework. Okay, it has TensorFlow Lite, it has TensorFlow for Web, it has TensorFlow, TFX, and then TensorFlow for Swift. So it has bunch of different things which combined together gives you superpowers, and you can literally do anything with that. So definitely you can put that in, and you can say you can learn TensorFlow and then implement machine learning models using TensorFlow.
Okay, that's great. So with this, we are toward the end, and it's very insightful session. So thank you a lot for Ali for coming in, and hopefully people learn a lot. So thank you so much, Ali. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a good day, and do check out my channel if you are very curious about it. Bye.
So So thank you guys for this amazing session. I hope you will enjoy this session, and the way Ali used the analogy of child to teach what is ML is truly amazing. So Guys, we will back with the another session in upcoming days, and it's on Bootstrap, a WebD series. Basically, a Bootstrap is a free and open source CS framework. So please stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the red bell icon and connect with us on LinkedIn and follow us on Instagram. So links are in the descriptions. So this is Samarjit Mai signing off for the day. Thank you very much for joining this session. So bye everyone and happy Navratri and Dashera to all. So